It's 5 Minute Friday. Let's go. Alright, let's put 5 minutes on the clock and we'll get started. I've seen this question come across a few different times, and a couple people have said they'd be interested in knowing my thoughts on it. And basically, it's wire selection when it's dealer's choice. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to answer this right, because I don't want to say it sounds pretty basic, but kind of does. Whenever it comes to a job that comes in my door and that like the customer's there, or to answer call on the phone or whatever, I like to ask questions about, if it's say an aluminum job, is it going to be anodized? Is it going to be in a harsh environment? Is it just a general part that's just going to get rattle can painted? I mean, what are we dealing with here? So that kind of dictates what I'm going to use for filler wire. If I have free reign to do whatever I want and it's just a general part, they don't care, I'll probably most likely use 4043 filler wire. If I have some 4943, I'll use that because I like the way that flows a little bit better. It's a touch more expensive, but not really enough to make it where it's cost prohibitive, I guess you could say. I think a little bit of an extra cost is worth the way it flows, especially on something a little bit thicker. If it's going to be anodized or in any type of a harsh environment like a boat top or a boat in general, or anything that's going to be submerged in a different type of environment, I'll use 5356 just because it reacts better to that type of environment. 5356 is a little bit more crack sensitive, so if you're going to be building, let's say, a tabletop or something like that, and you're going to have to straighten the legs out after you weld it, you may notice that there's going to be a little micro fracture or a stress fracture line in the middle of the weld, just because 5356 tends to crack if you shock it. So 4043 or 4000 series wire on aluminum works better for things that's a little bit more stretchy. So that's why I generally like to use 4000 series wire if it's just a general part, like a chair or a leg or a table leg or something like that. For steel, just good old ER70S2. That's basically my go-to for steel on everything. I'm not gonna go super fancy or anything like that. At my current job, we use ER70S3. I don't know why, but that's what we use, and that's that. So steel, it's pretty general. I do like to use, if I'm repairing a MIG weld, I'll use ER70S6 just so I match the filler wire to the weld a little bit better. Again, I don't know if that really makes a huge difference, but it kind of makes me feel a little bit better. When it comes to stainless, again, I like to ask questions of what is the end result going to be for this part? Is it going to be in a food product, or is it going to be something submerged? Is it just, does it matter? I mean, is it just like a little soap dish? Who knows what it could be. If it's just general work, general parts, and it's 304 stainless, then just use 308, 308L, whatever you can find at your welding supply store. That will be totally fine. If it's going to be something that's food grade of any kind, to me, regardless if it's 304 stainless, if it's going to be touching food or pharmaceuticals or anything along those lines, I like to use 316 just in case. I was always taught if it's anything to do with food, it's 316 and up. So I always have a little bit of 316 filler wire on hand. If you're dealing with a job that comes in that's dissimilar metals, like you got to weld stainless to steel, you can always use 309 as a cheaper option. And if there's something that comes in and you cannot figure out what it is, but it's not aluminum, obviously, maybe it's magnetic, maybe it's non-magnetic, it doesn't throw white sparks, so it's not titanium. That's when it's handy to have maybe a pound of Hastelloy W, and that can really get you in a pinch. It's not cheap wire to have, but having a pound of it around can be very, very handy. I used it in that pulling the pin video that I posted here a little while ago, and did that help over the 316, over the 309? I don't know. It definitely did. It definitely did grab a little bit better, but I used the fluorescent penetrant liquid to help loosen that up and pop that out. But having that Hastelloy W around does make things a little bit easier if you do have to pull a pin, or you run into something that's just like, I don't know what it is. It's kind of like, it looks like stainless, but they're not really sure, and it really doesn't matter. You could weld it with some Hastelloy W, and I don't want to say pretty much guarantee that it's gonna stick, but it's pretty stretchy and it's pretty forgiving. So I'm not sure if this is what you guys really wanted to know when you asked for dealer's choice on filler wire. I gave it a stab at it, and like I said, it's pretty basic aluminum. It's your normal 4043, 5356. You also have your 4943 if you can get it. Steels, ER70S2. I don't know what this guy in front of me is doing. He apparently doesn't know how to do traffic. Whatever. And then stainless, just if it's anything to do with food or anything to do with something along those lines, 316. If it's general purpose stuff, 308 filler wire will work just fine. If you can't figure it out, get the W out. So hopefully that clears up a little bit of the dealer's choice question. If you have any more questions, head over to the forum, leave your question there, or if you want to leave it in the comments below on this video, works too. So hopefully y'all like these, and we'll catch you next week.